These interviews are going to be used for verbatim theater performance. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The testimonies you will hear are from real people talking about real lives, from doctors, parents, and young women.
What this study does, I think, is much more important than the individual answer. It tells us that we're stuck in a series of debates that don't fit the data.
Okay, this question is for everyone. If you were granted one wish that could change the way parenting affects our lives, what would that wish be?
Maybe we should all think about that. Teenage girls get an especially bad rap.
People are very quick to malign them.
Doctor, what's the best advice you give to parents?
I like to offer parenting advice without telling parents what to do, but rather giving them a way of thinking about what they are seeing.
Can you identify what mistake parents often make?
Parents tend to take the normal behavior of adolescents far too personally and then respond in a hurt way.
What do you hear from the young women you work with as director of the Center for Research on Girls?
Girls report that most adults don't understand the complexity of their demanding lives and how much they are trying to juggle.
So much is happening during adolescence, often simultaneously.
Teenagers must work triple overtime in order to accomplish the kind of growth that turns
A 12-year-old into an 18-year-old.
Girls are really busy. They're juggling their
Friendships,
and their
Schoolwork,
and their
romantic interests,
and their
growing responsibility,
for themselves and their
frustration.
with the adults around them.
I usually come out of conversations with girls feeling that adults don't have enough empathy for teenagers. Because our adult lives have become very routinized, I think we forget that the lives of teenagers are
constantly dynamic.
How can parents find a balance between over-parenting and being too hands-off?
Will my kid be okay?
is the concern that drives all parenting. The problem is that there's such a long distance between.
The choice I make today and the outcomes I'm aiming for in 15 years.
And that is really scary for parents. In that anxiety, sometimes parents make choices that in retrospect seem
Overprotective
or
inappropriately interventionist.
So what do we do instead?
look at the question
Is my kid okay?
in a different way. Your daughter may be freaking out today about the fact that she didn't make the soccer team, but if she doesn't freak out every day, she's probably doing generally okay with harnessing emotions.
The fact that I'm having this moment today doesn't have to be grounds for an overreaction.
What happens if we do overreact?
Those moments can be very fruitful. The last thing I would want is for parents to think that they can't be
Human.
with their teenagers. There are many, many ways to get it right in parenting, and
It's a terrible way to parent if you have to worry that everything you do has to be just right.
you will get into rough times with each other, but what matters is how you get out of them.
But what do we do if our daughters say something that's actually hurtful?
Try to separate the message from the medium.
I think you can say,
Hey, that's not nice, and it hurt.
or,
I think you have a point, but it's going to be hard for people to hear your point if you say it that way.
you can stick up for yourself and try to minimize mistreatment. At the same time, you'll be letting your teenagers know that mistreating people is not okay. My experience is that teenagers who feel hurt will soften their touch, though that doesn't mean that in their first foray they're going to say it softly. We should go into parenting saying,
I love my kid. I'm doing the best with what I've got. We're on this journey
Together.
and there are certain things that are absolutely my job, like creating,
Form, structure, rules, and predictability.
but within that framework, I'm open to the idea of being
Flexible.
about how this interaction goes. What matters most is that we have,
Working relationship.
Can you give us an example?
yes, I miss you. I said this to my teenage daughter the other day when I was standing up 5 feet away from our kitchen. I've been hit by a wave of longing for her that afternoon. I thought about all this while I was driving home, so when my daughter stopped by our house after school before dance for what we refer to her as her layover, I told her I miss her. Without asking for an explanation, she said,
I miss you too.
I miss my little girl, and I know I'm not alone in this missing.
We are not alone.
We are missing our teenagers who, no, it's not that these
Unfamiliar people.
who drift in and out of our days and nights are necessarily
Unlikable.
It's just that we don't know them.
We want to be known.
We're missing our teenagers. We suspect we probably like them very much, given the chance to be acquainted. But we're not sure when we might get the chance.
We need somebody to talk to.
We miss our teenagers who have changed so much, and so quickly they seem like strangers.
Girls are more emotional than boys.
We miss our teenagers who are just so busy with
Good things.
that they're rarely home.
Really?
We miss our teenagers whose hearts, or big pieces of them, anyway, now belong to.
Boyfriends and girlfriends.
A lot of us are happy for our kids to have found young love, but our own hearts are worried that theirs getting broken.
Girls, we just fall head over heels for a cute guy, but you have to stay a step ahead of them.
So right now, girls are looking for something deeper, and guys just want to have fun, which is understandable because they mature slower than girls do.
We miss our teenagers who haven't done any of these things yet but are getting ready to. We hear them talk about,
When I do this, or I can't wait to do that.
and we miss them ahead of time. As parents, we want to give this missing a voice.
Psychologists and biologists tell us that we've arrived at an evolutionary place and societal era where many of us try to engineer every outcome. We should not get in the way of letting our kids walk their own path and experience them.
Bumps and bruises.
All girls are different, but regardless of their personality and circumstances, our teenage daughters contend with a barrage of challenges, including
Surging hormones.
Mixed messages.
Social pressures.
I'm still trying to do better for my daughters.
So, here are some goals all parents of teen girls can try to reach. They're challenging to meet, yet rewarding to achieve. Teenage girls have a way of disrupting our well-intentioned rational behavior. So forgive yourself for slipping, and then reset your efforts.
1. Learn to ignore the eye roll. 2. Go beyond the birds and the bees. 3. Tolerate their self-absorption. 4. Use caution when discussing their friends. 5. Call out bad behavior.
Teenage girls can be
Rude, obnoxious, and
Cruel. They might have to say things that hurt and push your buttons.
6. Let them learn from small failures. 7. Help your daughter become critical.
Who she is, not who she thinks she should be.
Does your research help to explain the miscues between adults and teenagers?
We need to listen between the lines of what they are saying. This missing speaks of relationships and connections. It speaks of
Histories together.
it speaks of
Shared memories and
Future memories to be made.
to parents of teens who maybe think
Okay, now that I've launched this kid somewhat, they're pushing me away.
the loud message from young people, from teens is
Hang in there.
even if they push us away, they really want to be with us.
So my one wish, loud as a ball, speak of love.
What's your one wish?
Okay, thanks everyone.